I forget how many years I have lived here, within smelling distance of the sea. It seems like forever, but it would, because where I am is like nowhere I lived before. I only came twice before I decided to stay. Something about the savoury air, the endless negotiations of sand and wind and water enchanted me. I could not be anywhere else now. This is certain. I've been here long enough to have learned a thing or two. The ones who are the most serious are the ones who have done their research. They come at the spring tide, when the distance between the water's highest and lowest levels is the greatest, and when the current here works the most mischief. I sit on a dune and I watch the full moon rise, and for the next 48 hours I don't rest, because I know the ones who mean it most, who want it most, will come now. These people are not impulse suicides. They are despairing, heavy, and as certain as the dragging of sand on shore that there is nothing on this earth that can make them feel any different. They don't even believe that they feel. They believe that they know. Some of them bring letters, but most don't. Perhaps they've left their goodbyes elsewhere, propped up against a kettle, or in an email waiting to be opened. Or it could be that if they have got this far, barefoot on the sand as the water begins to fall back into itself, sucking at the tide line, that words have failed. A woman is, right now, sitting in the crook of the dune, taking off her shoes, balling her socks. Words have not allowed her to express her pain. Words have not made her loved or safe enough. She stands and takes off her coat, folding it, putting her shoes on top. They almost always take off their shoes. You don't want your dying sensation to be the chafe of seawater, cold between the arches of your feet and your wet socks, even if the weight could make you heavier. The woman turns and faces the sea, then hesitates. On my way to intercept her at the bottom of the dune, I pause. Sometimes sense intervenes, whispering that maybe there is just the smallest of chances that things might get better. Maybe death could wait for another 2 weeks, for the moon to be full and the spring tide to come again. That happens sometimes. If I'm close enough, ready to try if sense has failed, I can see it. There are quick eye movements as this sad soul calculates. Have they been missed yet? Could they get home and try just once more to explain this deep blank hurt? To ask for help so that it comes in something stronger than platitudes? A hug and 2 days of making more effort around the house between the sheets before this accepted darkness becomes the norm again. Ah, but this woman has paused to feel in her pocket. She takes out her car keys and tucks them into the toe of the shoe. She's considerate then. That means there's a good chance of stopping her. She picks her way down the dune. This tide is turning as the twilight deepens and the ground, I know, is cold against the soles of her feet. She slows at the place where the grass stops and the sand flattens. There's a line of stones to cross, and then she will be at the tide line. She bends to the stones and starts to examine them. She reminds me of the children brought here in this or that configuration of family, looking for the stone that is just right for their castle drawbridge, or the shell that will be the best of all the treasures yet found. She starts to slide the stones into her pockets. She hasn't realized I'm here. Not yet. I can't read minds, but I can sense something of another soul if I work to make my own soul's thinking as small as it can be. I don't like her determination, her focus. She might have been a sportswoman when she was younger. There's a leanness to her that only comes from hard-worked muscles. I was that thin once, but my body was the result of starvation and an agent who could spot an ounce of weight gain from a mile away. "Your cheekbones are your fortune, girl," she used to say. "You can eat cheesecake when your hair is grey." If only. I hunker close to the sand behind her and I concentrate. I can tell that she's noticed me, although she hasn't looked round. She's taken a breath, made her body straight. "I've made up my mind," she says, her voice firm, and she starts to walk towards the tide line.